Content warning. This episode includes foul language and discussion of violence. Listener discretion is advised.
Hey, Courtney.
Hey.
So, did you have a good Christmas?
Well, no. Yeah, I did. Just not at first, but the overtime is done and I'm about to be back full throttle. Maybe. I still feel like shit. Let's just be real. But, did you get anything special for Christmas?
I did. I got some cool friends kitchen stuff from my mom.
I thought you were about to say I got some cool friends. I'm like, okay.
I have a few of those too.
Okay.
Ben got me a few cute things, like some temporary tattoos.
Oh, cool.
I know that sounds weird because I have a lot of real tattoos, but...
Hey, why not, though?
I like playing with the temporary ones, too. Gives me ideas.
That's cool.
He also got me a Queen vinyl.
Oh, wow.
And yes, I was so excited. It's one I've been wanting. And my awesome in-laws got me a Tiffany's necklace and a tiara, which I much needed to remind these people in my house who the Queen is. What about you?
Oh, those peasants.
I've been wearing it every day, but it started giving me a headache.
Oh, yeah, it's hard being a queen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got a clue and a nap. I got whatever this is. I guess it's... I'm going to be nice and call it a cold, but really, I've been kind of joking around and calling it the Pantene Cove 2, COVID-19, Pantene Cove 19. That did not flow well. I think I have coronavirus, guys. I am not joking around. But I've been sick for a very long time and it sucks, but that's what I got for Christmas. And then I also got a messy house. I really, truly appreciate all the things I got. It was definitely a learning experience for me.
That sounds like a rough Christmas.
Well, I also got this serial killer cookbook, which you also got. And let me go on record to say something. I noticed that there's a lot of people dissing people who got that same cookbook, and I'm just gonna say it. No. Okay, no. It's a novelty item. It's not glorifying anybody.
It's not.
Anyway, but yeah, I got the serial killer cookbook, which you also got, and I also get this really nifty box of stuff, including my new favorite lotion. I got it from this chick, Amanda. I think you know her. She does this really weird podcast with me.
I wonder. I'm familiar.
Yeah.
And Courtney got me the same cookbook.
That Courtney.
I know. We both got the same cookbook, which I'm so happy about.
Yeah.
I also like it has what death row inmates' last meals in it.
Yeah.
It was interesting to me.
Yeah.
And also, it made me start looking into it. Did you know in Texas, we quit doing that? I think it was like in 2011 and 2018, something like that. We quit doing last meals.
Really?
Yeah. We did.
I don't know how to feel about that. Like, part of me is like, that's fucked. But at the same time, it's like, well, what they did was fucked, too. So.
Exactly. I don't know. I was the same way as you. I was like, I don't know how it feels. Like,
let's see. Which is more fucked?
Kind of both are.
Yeah.
Oh, and Courtney got me a Prison Mike coffee cup.
Prison Mike.
Which I love.
I'm glad.
So, how are we naming this episode?
Well, you're covering unsolved and missing persons cases, right?
Yep.
And we don't really have anything to name it with X, Y, or Z, so, since we are going to reflect on the past.
You're doing the year to examine your zipper, huh?
A Nefarious Nightmare presents A Year to Examine Your Zipper.
Know how this works.
Yes, you do.
But our listeners may not. Care to explain?
Okay. Today's episode is a bit of reflection on some shit. Like, we are at the end of the year, So we're going to reflect. But, technically, people use the term XYZ as a way to subtly tell people to check their zipper. Like whenever you see somebody walking around and their zipper is undone, you're just like, oh, look at that free air conditioning, But, if you wanted to get real deep with it, it could just be like, you can technically examine your zipper too. Like if you're walking around acting kind of like a fool, and you're like, hey friend, examine that zipper. I don't know. But yeah, they may have a bit of free AC going on, and, let's just reflect, sit back, and examine our zippers,
But what if people don't wear jeans? I hate jeans.
Man, I don't know. Okay, examine your button. Look, I don't know. I fucking made a mistake, guys, okay? And I'm owning it. When we started this podcast, I wanted to go in alphabetical order because dumbass me, I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm going to start with an Alaskan Avenger and then go with a broken baker and then a cruel coward and then just go on and on with the alphabet. And then I get towards the end and I'm just like, I really don't know what the fuck I'm doing, So we're going to just title, like after we're done with this one, it's just, we're going to title it whatever fits, okay? I'm sorry, guys. I fucked up, okay?
I'll think of something clever.
Yeah, well, right now it's a year to examine your zipper, so examine your fucking zippers. I just examined my zipper, and I just realized that my zipper is that I made a mistake. We're not doing New Year's resolutions anymore, guys. We're doing zippers. So, in 2022, examine your zipper. Okay, I digress.
All right, so where are you?
I am not anywhere.
You just, I'm like, wait.
Because I was reflecting. We do have a couple of mistakes that, speaking of reflection,
yes,
there's probably a couple of mistakes that I need to address, right?
Yeah.
So, in the Christmas, whoops. In the Christmas episode, we discussed the Flogger family. Mommy Flogger, Daddy Flogger, baby. I had said erroneously, right? New word. I had said la paix fontaine because I thought that I was bringing in my French roots, guys, and it's actually la pierre fouton. So I guess I really put my foot on my mouth. So let me give y'all a quick backstory on how I figured that out. So I'm at work and somebody's working. Like I do this thing at my job where basically I go around and check and make sure that people are doing okay. It's kind of an important job, I would say. I would like to think that I'm somewhat important. But I noticed this one young lady and she had her screen set to French, and I pulled up the guy's name on Google and I was like, hey, you speak French, right? And she just kind of looked at me quizzically as if like, hey, I don't understand a fucking word you're saying. So I was like, great. So what does this say? So I pointed it at her and she said, la paix fontaine. I was like, oh. And she's like, uh-huh. And I was like, I said fouton. And she started laughing at me, probably thinking, you ignorant ass fucking American. So
It happens. Hey.
I am sorry. I'm sorry, guys. So, I made a mistake. I put my foot on my mouth.
So, also in that episode, we would like to thank Sabrina Thompson. She actually pointed out that some people celebrate Krampus, where if they're good, they get chocolate coins in their shoes. Mm-hmm. But if they're bad, a bundle of sticks in their shoes.
See, look, I'm telling you guys, we're having a moment of reflection. Didn't you say, before I continue on, didn't you say that, you had an interview with somebody after the fact and they said something different also?
No, she never got back to me.
Okay, well, we'll be sure to update. Krampus is very important, but I want to say something real quick. Speaking of Sabrina Thompson, she raised my awareness to a particular case I've had on my list for a while that we will be covering very soon. So she also has left us a really awesome review. So thank you, Sabrina. We love you. We appreciate all the information that you've given. I do want to address one more thing.
What's up?
Well, okay, I lied. I'm sorry. Another mistake I've made. Two more things. One, I think it was the Christmas episode. I had gotten excited about something and said exactly and really heavily emphasized the T in that word. And I know that this annoys tons of people. Look, if you want to, let's do an instant replay. I said exactly. I didn't mean to do that.
Oh my gosh. Stop apologizing for stupid shit.
My point. That's my point exactly. Also, look, guys. This one though, I really do. I'm loud as fuck. Okay, and I realize that. I didn't really realize exactly how loud I was until I listened to the episode we did with PNW Haunts and Homicides. But man, I am beating myself up for that one. Like,
oh my gosh, Court, you did great.
Okay, I know I did, but like I want to let you all in on something. Okay, I am hard of hearing. Okay, I don't hear how loud I get sometimes. My husband's even made mention of like, why are you yelling at me? And I'm like, I'm not yelling at you, but truthfully, I guess I am. Because I don't hear myself. But I listen, dude, I listened to that episode though, and there was a couple of moments where I got really loud. And I mean, naturally as humans, we kind of compare ourselves to other humans, and I was listening against others, and I was just like, oh my God. Like, it really jarred me. I was just like, Courtney Fenner, the fuck? So guys, like, I used to do music. A lot of the times I was around a lot of really loud, like, amps and bass and all that kind of stuff, and it has affected my hearing. So, I will do better. I apologize. Yes, that I definitely, truly mean, but from the bottom of my heart, I don't mean to, like, jar everybody when I'm speaking. It's something that I have almost no control over, but I'm doing my best. So, that's all I got. Yeah, that's it.
I think you sounded fine, but okay.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
We will save the nice things people have had to say for the next episode. Is that cool with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
But let's get down to business.
All right.
Shall we?
Yep.
I wanted to do this episode in light of the fact that there are so many missing person cases and unsolved cases. Mm-hmm. And due to the fact that Gabby Petito's case really shed light on the fact, I want to start talking about other cases.
Yes.
The first case I will discuss is kind of, I don't want to say for fun, but it's just an interesting one.
Yeah.
Because it is among one of the oldest documented missing persons cases.
Let's do it. Let's talk about it.
All right. So his name was Owen Parfitt.
Okay.
The first time Owen disappeared was actually in his youth.
Okay.
Born in the late 17th century.
Jeez, yeah, this is wow, this is old.
I know, right?
I'm going to tell you guys right now, there's probably not a reward if you come across this guy. Or there is.
Well, just listen to the whole story, and then you'll be like, yeah, this one's just for fun. There's no saving this guy. I'm sorry.
Right.
Well, maybe. It depends on what you believe.
Yeah.
So he was raised in the small English town of Shepton Mallet.
Okay.
Don't know where that is, but maybe somebody knows out.
Okay.
All right. So Owen grew up learning to sew and serving as an apprentice to his father, who was a tailor. He was apparently very skilled at it. But one day, Owen simply vanished without a trace from his home. The whole town looked for him, but he was nowhere to be found. And there had been no note left behind to tell where he had gone. Rumors at the time were that he had enlisted in the king's service to go off on adventures to faraway lands.
So he did not want to be found. That's what that was.
But this is like when he was still like really young.
It doesn't matter. I know when I was young, I did not want to be found. So
that's like, that's kind of what happened.
Yeah.
We think. So, as there was some who claimed that he had never been happy in the life of a tailor.
Right.
So that's kind of why people figured that's where he went.
Right.
But, however, no one knew. And the years went by with no sign of him. Then decades went by. Owen's parents passed away without ever knowing what happened to him. And then one day in early 1760s, an old man walked into town claiming to be the long-lost Owen Parfitt.
Huh. So he didn't want to be found. And then he ran out of money, and he was like, "Oh, guys, look, by the way."
Yeah.
That's me. I need some help. I'm sorry.
Hi, guys.
Hey, guys.
Remember me? All right, so this dude just comes waltzing back in as if nothing's ever happened. And although no one could recognize him being as who he said he was, his older sister Mary did.
Oh.
I don't know how she recognized him for being a boy to, 70-year-old man, but...
It's that sibling bond, you know?
I know. I'm like, I probably would recognize my brothers, I would think.
Yeah.
So when he asked where he had been all those years, when she asked where he had been all those years, he claimed that just as everyone had originally suspected, he had gone off on an adventure to see the world.
That's what we all call it, an adventure.
Seeing far-off colonies, battling pirates, fighting in wars. Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Whether these were tall tales or not, he held people captivated by his stories of his high adventure in faraway lands.
Wow, sounds like a narcissist.
So, when asked why he had returned, he explained that he was too old to do any of those things anymore and that he hoped to now lead a quiet, settled life and finally become the tailor his dead father had always wanted him to be.
Oh, or he was coming back knowing that this guy was missing and that his parents finally passed away and he was hoping to get some of that life insurance money. Got it. Did life insurance exist back then?
I think so.
Well, you know what?
But then, I mean, they had their land and their
wills and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, they had money that still had passed down.
Yeah.
But I mean, his father was a tailor. I don't think they were rolling in the dough in 1750.
No, but I mean, I can also be I can understand because I've actually known even some present day tailors, and it's not a happy thing unless you're genuinely into that kind of thing. But I can't imagine getting stabbed by needles every 5 seconds trying to maintain a suit or a dress or something would be a fun thing.
Some people love it though.
I mean, you know what?
Passion.
That could be a passion, and you know what else? So I think you'd have to have some really excellent eyesight for that. Because me, I sew up my daughter's bunny every 5 minutes, and it's hard to get the fucking string in the hole. So
it is. That's the most irritating part for me.
Ugh. Anyway,
I can sew all day, perfectly fine, but I don't like sticking the thread through the little needle hole.
Right.
Just so irritating.
Yep.
So, anyways, a few years Owen pursued life as a tailor, living with his sister, but his physical health started to deteriorate. Mm-hmm. His body became riddled with arthritis, which apparently got worse by the year until he could only hobble about on a cane. And he finally got to the point where he could barely even walk at all.
Oh, wow.
His sister cared for him as much as she could, but she was older than he was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And she just had trouble taking care of him.
Yeah.
So she decided to enlist the help. Voice.
Uh-oh.
She decided to enlist the help of a young woman who lived next door by the name of Susanna Snook.
Snooky?
Just Snook.
But it was so Snooky, time travel? Oh.
I'm just picturing it in my head.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. We're reflecting, guys.
So, anyway, the Susanna came to help care for her brother.
Yeah.
Most of the time, they had to carry him from, place to place. He really wasn't able to walk anymore.
Uh-huh.
And although he was still mentally sharp, his legs just weren't working anymore.
That's how I feel every single day. I'm mentally sharp, but my legs just don't work. Sorry, guys.
My body.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Your body is broken. Voltaren, guys. Voltaren works.
So, one of Owen's favorite things to do was sit in his chair outside on the front porch in the late afternoon, watching the sunset, talking to people who pass by, telling all those stories over and over again.
Oh, wow.
So every day, if the weather was good, Susanna and Mary would carry him out to his usual chair and just leave him there. And then they would bring him back in when the sun was starting to, go down.
Yeah.
It was all completely routine for them. So when they put him out there one afternoon in 1768, there was no reason to think it'd be any different. But when Mary decided it was time to take Owen inside, she went out to get him. And she was surprised to see that his chair was empty.
Hold on. Two things. One, he's a scam artist. Okay? If not, then he was already dead and he was a ghost. So one of those two things.
That's a good one, I think.
But more than likely he was a scam artist.
He just ran.
He's like, okay, and I'm not saying that all homeless people are like this, okay? But you see, like the panhandlers, the ones that pretend like they have a broken leg. And they're holding up like a sign. They're like, please help me. I broke my leg in Vietnam. Right?
Yeah.
And so you give them some money, and then 5 minutes later you see them running to their Chrysler. Yeah. That's Owen Parfitt. No.
I've seen a few.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of them.
So, so his coat was still there.
Yeah.
Since he was unable to walk on his own, she first thought that perhaps a neighbor had moved him inside for her. Mm-hmm. As some people did.
Yeah.
Could you just imagine people just picking somebody up and putting them in the house without saying anything?
I'd be like, ma'am, don't touch my brother. He
Who's
doesn't
just picking this man up and just waltzing him everywhere?
He's not a baby. But I'm trying to imagine that, like, this like 17 something, right? 17th century.
Yeah.
So, now I'm trying to imagine that, but I can't. So, no. I would be like...
just be like somebody holding him like a baby.
breastfeeding him and stuff. Like...
Just like running through the field with him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just have it like in my head. But there's a few little theories. We'll get
I'm
to.
imagining an old man being held tenderly, gingerly, and him being breastfed.
Ew. See, why my name go to breastfeeding?
Listen, I'm going to blame it on the panini. I blame it all on panini. What panini? Who? So you can have that weenie and stick it up your ass. I can't. You know what? Limp Bizkit is not... Yeah, blaming it on the panini.
Try that forever.
You know, I just realized you can make a hot dog out of a panini. Kind of. Wait, hold on. I have a question, and I'm totally going off the subject, but is a hot dog considered a sandwich?
No.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry.
No, I'm very against this. A hot dog is not a sandwich. I mean,
come
at me, but it's not.
Come at me, bro, but it's not. Okay, a hot dog's not a sandwich. Cool. What is it?
A hot dog's just a freaking hot dog.
Is it?
It's not a sandwich. It's not like a burger. It's just a freaking hot dog.
We went from like a breastfed old gentleman to Limp Bizkit.
Apparently a touchy subject for Amanda.
To apparently a touchy subject for Amanda. I'm sorry. I will never bring it up again. I will probably...
like people who pour the milk first in cereal.
I don't understand that at all. I really don't. It's like, you know what? I was trying to think of like, I mean, it's like putting croutons in your soup. I don't know. Some people do that, but no, I don't get it. The whole point of like eating cereal is to make it slightly soggy with a bit of crunch, but that's not how you don't pour your cereal on top of milk like to create floaties in a pool of milk.
No, because the cereal will just flow. Then you gotta like push it down.
Amanda, you were the one that totally got us off topic here.
I did not do anything like that.
I know.
Everybody's going to enjoy my cereal story.
Listen, I'm the type of person that can't hold myself accountable for anything, so I'm going to blame you. It's all your fault. Oh, I'm kidding. It's all my fault, guys. I'm sorry again. I've had time to reflect. I've examined my zipper. Okay.
All right. So, after she made sure that nobody threw him in the house.
Yeah. That sounds awful. Threw him in the house?
Yeah, they throw him in on occasion. Get out of the weather. I don't know.
Could you imagine just neighbors picking up your brother and throwing him inside on occasion? Like...
You're reading my notes?
I am. And it's like, no, I can't. Like, why would you just be like, here, Gerald, and then throw him inside? Get in there, you bastard!
I know.
That's an angry fucking neighbor. And also, his name wasn't Gerald. I just realized it was Owen. I'm sorry. Okay.
Alright. So, this old man was nowhere to be found. The neighbors denied having moved him, insisting that they had seen him sitting there all day.
Right.
Susanna also confirmed that she had not once seen him leave his chair. 2 farm workers who had been at work right across the road all day also had not seen Owen go anywhere. nor had they heard or seen anything out of the ordinary. Owen's house was not a particularly rural area.
Right.
And was actually on a turnpike not far from the town center.
Okay.
Which I feel like is pretty big for 1768.
Yeah, for sure.
So, in fact, there were many witnesses that day, yet no one had seen anything unusual or knew where he had gone.
Okay.
Mary, her neighbors, everyone else in town searched the entire area, but Owen was nowhere to be found. He had just evaporated into thin air.
Yeah.
So, there's little whispers going around that he had been taken by supernatural forces or that the devil had come to him for payment on some sinister pact they had made.
And you know what? That's realistic, okay? That's realistic. That had to have been it.
You never know. You never know.
It's not
There's
that...
strange things happening.
It's not that they had discovered some kind of, like, hallucinogenic drug and had been imagining him this entire time and hallucinating him. It's not that he very well could have been just a scam artist. I mean, none of those things add up. It had to have been that, like, he made a pact with the devil. That's just what happened.
Well, there was also rumors that he had been involved in witchcraft and black magic.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
One of the old man.
Yeah. They wanted to sacrifice an old man. That's what happened. So.
Oh, poor Owen.
Yeah.
So it wasn't long before articles, headlines like this were all over the papers.
Yeah.
Much speculation was brewing.
Man, TikTok.
Oh, could you imagine TikTok in 1768?
Yeah, I could imagine that. That's just like, you know, TikTok.
Horse races.
Do what?
Making butter. Horse races, making butter, making bread. I mean...
But I was also thinking, like, TikTok, your time is up, old man, you're dead.
Oh, you're talking about, like, TikTok like a clock. I'm thinking like TikTok like a...
I was talking about that, too.
Totally separate.
On planes of existence, yeah, but, like, no, like, back whenever, in the 1760s or whatever, when they had their cell phones, you know?
Yeah.
They were, like, trying to take pictures of him so they could put it on TikTok, but they couldn't because TikTok, old man, your time is here, and you're dead, so...
Maybe he was a time traveler.
All feasible. This is all feasible.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
So,
had to have been.
Besides the supernatural idea, another idea was that he had been kidnapped or even murdered. But that's not likely, they thought, because there was people everywhere. Mary wasn't very far away in the house.
Yeah.
Another idea was that Owen's sister Mary had been the one to do it.
That's actually real talk. That sounds about right.
But they don't think that she had the strength at the time at nearly 90 years old.
But Snooki would have helped
Apparently
her.
she had left for the day already.
Yeah. But did she have...
He wasn't even there.
Did she have, like, an alibi that they could verify?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure so. I've read about it. Also, there didn't seem any reason to why anyone would want this elderly, crippled man dead.
Yeah.
Especially his own sister, who by all accounts had a loving relationship with her brother.
Yeah.
He had no money, no enemies that anyone knew of. So, could it have been someone from his past coming after him?
It's fucking Satan, dude. Satan. He made a pact with the devil.
I think that's what a lot of people thought.
I'm just saying, I don't really believe that, but I mean, okay.
I don't know what I believe in this one.
Yeah.
This one's pretty out there. I mean, this was out in 1768, so
I'm pretty sure he was just a
maybe
scam
this
artist.
is all made up.
You know what? This could just be this could be another grim fairy tale.
It could be, but I did find newspaper article.
Yeah. So. Maybe it was based on a true story. I don't know.
Who knows? All right, so no trace of Owen or evidence of any one theory or other was ever found. In 1813, there was a bit of excitement when a man who lived about 150 yards from Mary's cottage was gardening and accidentally dug up a human skeleton. At the time, it was thought that these were the remains of Owen and that the mystery had finally been solved. But an official examination of the skeleton proved that it was actually a woman.
Oh.
Creating yet another mystery, as no one could figure out who she could possibly be or how she ended up in that garden.
Okay.
In the meantime, the story of Owen Parfitt's strange vanishing became almost legendary.
Yeah.
And for our fun fact, Owen's story even influenced the work of Sherlock Holmes author Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. What do you think happened to him?
You already know. I think he was just a scam artist. I really do. Like, it would be fun to think that he was a ghost and that he actually might have inspired the whole Ghost of Christmas Past, Present, and Future or something weird like that. All of that, I mean, all of those theories that they've all said in this have sounded like they would be fun theories. But realistically, I think that, he disappeared because he didn't want to be seen. I do think that
he wanted to go off and die by himself.
I do think that back in in the 17th century, it was kind of considered taboo to have any kind of issue with your parents because it's the whole respect your elders thing. I think that there might have been a fight with him and his parents and that he wanted to be, unseen. I think that once that they passed away, he was like, okay, well, it's safe for me to come back around. So he doesn't become like the guy with the scarlet letter or whatever. And I think that he also was kind of like a scam artist. And he was like, well, now that they're dead, maybe let me see what I can get off of this. That's what I think. So I'm kind of the big Debbie Downer here, but that's just where my brain is going. So
I think he was just old and senile and wandered off.
Definitely. I agree with that one too. So
Right.
Good old Owen.
So, do you want to just jump into our next one?
Yeah, let's jump right in on that. You've got a couple of things to say about that, and then we'll take a little break.
We'll take a little break right in the middle.
Yeah.
All right, so the next missing persons case we're going to talk about this episode is that of Angela Hammond.
Okay.
Or Angie.
All right.
Do you know about this one? This was pretty popular back in the 90s.
So the name Angela Hammond does ring a bell. So
This one, I mean, if anybody out there has information.
Yeah, maybe we'll link all that.
I would love to know what happened. Well, I think we all know what kind of happened on this one, but
yeah,
you want justice.
Yes.
So, let's get in. Angela Hammond was an outgoing 20-year-old woman who went by Angie, and her fiance was Rob Schaefer.
Okay.
Following a barbecue on the evening of April 4th, 1991, Angie dropped Rob off at his house to babysit his younger brother for his mother, and said that she would call him in a few hours to meet back up with him.
Okay.
Angie and her friend walked around the town square for about an hour, and then her friend left to go home. Also, I need to mention Angie was about 4 months pregnant at this time.
Oh, no.
Yes.
That makes me sad already.
Yeah, it does me too. This was heartbreaking. I cried during this.
Okay.
So, as promised, Angie called Rob about an hour later from a payphone in the center of town to let him know that she was really tired and that she was just going to head home and go to sleep instead of meeting back up with him.
Right.
I really want to add in here that she had no phone at her house at the time. So
Right.
that's why she used a payphone to call Rob instead of just going straight home. She stopped at this payphone to let him know.
Okay.
Because there's been a lot of speculation about people saying, why didn't she just go home and call him?
Right.
I'm going to answer that right now. She didn't have a phone at home.
Okay.
She was about 7 blocks from his house, and Robert said that Angie mentioned a truck that had circled the block around her a few times. She said it was an older model green Ford pickup truck.
Okay.
Rob mentioned that Angie wasn't concerned until the truck parked by the phone booth. Then that's when everything goes downhill.
Oh, no.
Quoting Rob, quote, he used the phone next to her, got back in his truck, and looked at something with a flashlight. She described the flashlight, didn't it? She described the flashlight to me over the phone. He was looking for something. I had asked her to ask him if he needed to use the phone. Maybe the other phone was broken, and he said no. He'd try again in a minute.
Okay.
Then we just talked about other things. We weren't too worried about it, and that's when I heard her scream on the phone.
Ooh.
I heard her scream. The only thing that went through my mind was getting up there and finding out what the hell was going on. I just dropped the phone and ran out of the house. I didn't even hang the phone back up. I just headed up there.
Hi there, I'm Courtney Gallagher.
And I'm Ethan Flick.
And together, we are the husband and wife team behind And Then They Were Gone, a true crime podcast about unsolved missing persons cases. Each week, we take a deep dive into a case that I have researched and written about and that you have never heard of.
Right. And I react naturally and usually leave you with a whole lot of stuff to edit out of the podcast.
Very true. But I do love getting your analysis and a fresh perspective on these crimes that I've been spending so much time learning about. So you can see us on your favorite podcast app every Wednesday when we release a brand new episode.
And find us on the socials at ATTWG Pod.
And you can also visit us on our website, andthentheywere.com.
Could you hold the key to bringing someone home?
Denise, if they weren't a postmaster, does it even matter what they did?
Zelda, he was a doctor. It is completely relevant to the murder.
If you say so.
Now wait until I tell you what his great-grandfather did as a doctor.
Ooh. You know, Denise, you can kind of see how he turned out to be a murderer. Murderous Roots, where murder and family meet.
A chance to glimpse into the family trees of killers.
You can find us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you listen to podcasts with new episodes every other Thursday.
All right, so we are back from our break.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just going to continue on.
All right.
So, as we left off, Rob had jumped in his truck. He's racing up there.
Yeah.
As he's racing up there, he passed by a pickup truck that Angie had described. And he heard her yell, Robbie.
Oh, wow.
Like, could you imagine?
That's creepy.
Rob threw his truck into reverse, turned around, chased the pickup truck through the downtown. But he didn't know that when he threw his car into reverse, the transmission had been damaged, and 2 miles into the chase, his truck broke.
Oh, no.
Quoting
oh, my
Rob,
God.
Yeah. Quote, "It started dying as I was making my right turn. This guy turned off to the right. All I saw was his brake lights and dust." End quote. Can you imagine how heartbreaking that felt?
So, oh my God, I can't even begin to imagine. Like, I would feel very defeated in that moment. But what I'm also wondering is, like, do you think that happened to him on purpose? Like, do you think that his truck was...
I don't think so.
You don't think so? It just was kind of like...
I think it was coincidence because I think he was... I don't believe that it was like a huge town. So I'm kind of figuring it's like a one way in, one way out type of thing we got going on.
Okay.
So I think... Anyways, the police, citizens, they all search for Angie.
Yeah.
By air, land, but they found no trace of her anywhere.
Oh, no.
The police searched for the make and the model of the truck. Oh, and there was a fish jumping out of water mural on the back of the truck. Do you remember those?
Yes, I do. They still have those.
Yeah, you see them. Okay. But out of the 1,600 possibilities, they came up completely empty.
Wow.
The police only had Rob's testimony to go on. There were no witnesses. Rob did become a suspect, obviously.
Yeah.
But no one close to Angie believed that he would ever hurt her.
Right.
Within a week, Rob was cleared, and shortly after, police thought there might be a connection to Angie's abduction.
Huh.
2 other unsolved cases within 100 miles of Clinton, where she lived. The first had occurred 3 months earlier in Missouri.
Wow.
So a little snippet of these other 2 victims. One was Trudy Darby. She was working alone in a convenience store when she called her son to report a suspicious man walking outside.
Mm-hmm.
Trudy's son hurried to the store but found it deserted after just 10 minutes.
It's fucking crazy.
2 days later, Trudy was found on a riverbank 10 miles away from the store. She had been shot twice in the head.
Oh, bless her heart.
And after a month, Cheryl Ann Kinney was reported missing in Nevada, Missouri.
Yeah.
That was about 70 miles away from where Trudy was
Right.
Abducted. And on February 28th, 1991, Cheryl Ann, who had also vanished from a convenience store when she worked.
Yeah.
And she had not been found since.
Wow.
Then less than 1 month after is when Angie was abducted. This is the reason they assume the cases are linked, which does make sense.
That does make sense.
The latest update in this case is kind of crazy, actually. They are saying that they're saying that this may have been a case of mistaken identity.
What?
Yeah. So listen to this.
Okay.
Police investigating the disappearance of Angie shared a ransom-style note, the kind that's written out in like the magazine letters.
Oh God, that's pretty cliche.
Yeah, yes, and I mean the letter. I think that I have pictures of the letter, and total magazine letters. It was given to them by an unnamed informant, which was posted on April 4th of 1991, the same evening she was abducted.
Wow.
The informant's wife and daughter, who was also named Angela and went by Angie, were living in Clinton at the time.
Yeah.
Police think his daughter may have been the intended target given they had the same name, and they are said to have looked strikingly similar.
That's wonderful.
Oh, I know. This was insane. The Clinton police captain, Paul Abbott, explained that Angie's father had been involved in a case where he was a confidential informant. This was a pretty significant narcotics case that was probably disrupted some pretty significant drug businesses at the time.
Right.
And revisiting the case again for the third or fourth time, we ran across this lead from a very early on in the investigation.
Okay.
So I'm going to read the following ransom note, but some of this has been redacted since this is still an open case.
Okay.
The ransom note says, "Hello, no, blank. We know who you are. No, blank. People like you deserve what you get. We know where your foxy daughter is at."
Ew.
Yeah. "She will see us soon. Tell blank she has our deepest sympathy for our further loss. Goodbye, blank blank."
Oh my God.
Yeah. How disgusting.
That's fucking disgusting.
This piece of evidence had been ignored because police couldn't figure out how to connect it to the 1970s model green Ford truck that Rob had tried to chase down.
Right.
Police said in the news release that the case had not been nailed down just yet,
Yeah.
and there are several still active and open leads being considered.
Okay.
However, cops noted that investigators have come across information that was not provided by the police. That lends credibility to the mistaken identity theory and have so far been unable to refute it.
Okay.
So cops said that another break in the case might be made if an anonymous tipster who has recently reached out would get back into contact with them after providing information about a person that cops had previously investigated.
Okay, so if by any chance whatsoever that anonymous tipster is listening, we urge you to please get back in with the cops and let them know everything that you know, because what if this was, this had happened with you? We just got to get this young lady some justice.
Definitely.
So,
Just a heartbreaking case.
yeah, that is very heartbreaking. And what really sticks to my mind is like the fact that she suddenly screamed over the phone like that, and then also that fucking ransom note. Really?
Yeah.
So
Sickening.
Yeah, it's sick.
Just purely sickening. All right, so we're going to move on to our third and final
Okay.
missing case of the night.
All right.
This case I have been personally following since he went missing.
Yeah.
2013. So this is the case about Brandon Lawson.
Okay.
He was 26-year-old. He worked in the oil fields
Okay.
with a spouse. He has 4 kids when he went missing on August 9th of 2013.
Okay.
This is a case that, like I said, I've been following for years because it's very strange. It's kept me interested.
Yeah.
Not only was Brandon in contact with his brother Kyle moments before he disappeared, but they were also in the same area, probably yards away from each other.
That's weird.
Yeah. So Brandon was in a fight with his longtime girlfriend, Ladessa, and left their home. His truck ran out of gas. He asked his brother to bring a gas can. His brother's name was Kyle.
Yeah.
I'll remember that. When Kyle got there, Brandon was not in his truck. They spoke on the phone, and a police officer pulled up behind Brandon's truck. Brandon was on the phone to Kyle and said, "One time, run."
Oh.
According to Kyle, this means law enforcement, run.
Okay.
Brandon was close enough to observe what was happening at his truck, but no one at the scene ever saw him. Kyle didn't run from the cop. He had no reason to.
Right.
And Brandon hung up on him. This makes the case even more confusing because Brandon himself called 911 before he even called Kyle.
Okay, and let's go ahead and we will insert that 911 recording right here so you all can hear it.
2013, 0:50 and 38 seconds. 911 emergency.
Yes, I'm in the middle of the field. It's like we're just pushing guys over. Right here going towards Javelin on both sides. My truck ran out of gas. There's one car here. You got to take it to the woods. Pretty flirty.
Okay, now run that by me.
We're not talking to him. I actually ran into him.
Ah, you ran into him. Okay.
That's the first guy.
You need an ambulance?
Yes, no, I need the cops.
Okay. Is anybody hurt? Hello? Hello? Hello?
So the phone call with Kyle would be the last time anyone ever spoke to Brandon.
Wow.
So in this case, I really feel like the timeline is a lot easier to follow. So here it goes.
Okay.
On August 8th, 2013, approximately 10:45 to 11 p.m., Brandon and Ledessa argue.
Okay.
Ledessa says the argument started because she believed Brandon was on drugs again.
Right.
She told him to get out. Kyle later confirms that Brandon had done meth prior to his disappearance.
Okay.
Brandon had ongoing issues with substance abuse and had previously been clean for 6 months.
All right.
At 11:54 p.m., Brandon left his house in San Angelo, Texas.
Okay.
It's believed he was heading to his dad's house in Crowley, which is near Fort Worth.
Crowley is literally 5 minutes from me.
I got a few friends that live there too. So I'm like, that's why this case is right next to Courtney and I. That's why I've been following it. So now we're on to August 9th of 2013, because now we're at about 12:30 a.m.
Okay.
Brandon calls Kyle to say he ran out of gas while driving on US 277 towards Bronte, Texas. Kyle, with his girlfriend and his son in the car, head over to Ledessa's because they need to pick up a gas can.
Okay.
At 12:50, so about 20 minutes later, Brandon calls 911.
Okay.
12:58, a passing truck driver calls 911 to report Brandon's abandoned truck on the side of the highway. The vehicle was parked with his tail end hanging over the white line, which obviously could be very dangerous for him and other drivers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So at about 1:18 a.m., Kyle calls Brandon to find his exact location. Brandon sounded out of breath, like he was running, and claimed he was bleeding. He told them to hurry before hanging up again.
Okay.
At approximately 1:30 a.m., Kyle arrives at Brandon's truck, but he is not in the vehicle.
Okay.
While on the phone, Brandon, like I already said, the police officer came up. He told Kyle to run. Kyle responded that he wasn't going to. Brandon said, "Where's your pride, motherfucker?" Then hung up.
Okay.
Between 1:30 and 4:30, the details are pretty unclear.
Okay.
Kyle says that he drove up and down the highway looking for Brandon. At some point, he had to leave to get his son food. Afterwards, he returned to the search, possibly with friends.
I'm a little conflicted on that one. How old was his son?
Well, this was Kyle's son.
Yeah. How old was his son?
I don't think he's very old. I think he was like 3 or 4 at the time.
Why would you need to get his son food at between 1:30 to 4:30 a.m.?
Well, I think they had been in the truck since like 12 or something. I think.
Okay.
You know, kids. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? I get what you're saying though.
Okay.
So, approximately 4 a.m., Ledessa woke up and noticed multiple missed calls from Kyle, Brandon, and Brandon's mom.
Okay.
Her phone had been in her van because the only charger she had at the time was a car charger. Ledessa tries to call Brandon back, but his phone continuously rings. She assumes he doesn't have any service. She eventually speaks to Kyle, and he tells her that he's at the truck, but they haven't been able to find Brandon.
Okay.
Now, going to 7 a.m., Kyle puts gas in Brandon's truck, leaves. My guess is he was hoping Brandon would just maybe come down off his high and then come out of the woods and then, go home. I think I've been around a lot of drug addicts in my life. Thankfully it was never one.
Right.
But that made, I don't know, when I was reading that, it made sense to me.
Right.
It's like, yeah, he's probably out of his mind. wandered into the woods.
Yeah.
Freaking out. He's probably like, okay, well, let me just go ahead and put gas in his truck so whenever he does come out,
Yeah.
he can leave.
Right.
So between 8:30 and 9 a.m., the sheriff's department had Brandon's truck towed.
Okay.
Brandon did have an outstanding warrant. Kyle believed this to be the reason that Brandon was hiding from the officer at the scene. He didn't know that Brandon had called 911 and didn't realize how serious the situation was at the time. When Brandon told Kyle he was bleeding, Kyle assumed he had tripped or run into a cactus. Brandon never told him of an attack or anyone else present that night.
Right.
Brandon had been experiencing paranoia that day. He told Kyle that Ledessa, quote, had people from their neighborhood after him, end quote. Ledessa doesn't know why Brandon said that, and Kyle is adamant that Brandon was simply just being paranoid.
Okay.
Law enforcement initially suspected that Kyle was involved, either by helping Brandon run away or due to foul play. Kyle agreed to take a polygraph, and he has been administered to and passed both. I really don't think Kyle had anything to do with this personally.
Right. I was already starting to get a little suspicious of that myself, but yeah, I see.
Yeah, I mean, just like I said, I've been following it for so many years. I don't believe any family members had anything to this.
Right.
That's my gut feeling. I don't. So the area where Brandon disappeared had been searched many, many times, both on foot, from the sky. Thermal imaging cameras, plane searches, cadaver dogs were all used in the days after.
Right.
A PI was hired by the Lawsons, who also searched via helicopter with no luck. The area in which Brandon disappeared was very uneven. It's recognized to be occupied by wild hogs, rattlesnakes.
Which is very dangerous.
Very.
Very dangerous.
Really, if you're not in your right mind.
Yeah.
So this was Brandon's last known location. He was right next to the Colorado River, which was experiencing severe droughts at the time.
Yeah.
The river was said to be about knee-deep length.
Yeah. Height, yeah.
So some listeners of the 911 call accept that they can hear gunshots in the background. Kyle says that it sounds like cars driving on the bridge over the Colorado River to him.
Yeah.
This was an area I feel like they knew.
Yeah.
And I don't know. To me, it did sound like gunshots too. Once you listen to the 911 call,
yeah,
it does sound like gunshots. But maybe it is the cars driving over the bridge.
Yeah, maybe.
So according to this San Angelo News article, Brandon withdraws from his 401k before his disappearance. This is approved by Ledessa in the article, though she is unaware of whether he did ever get the money or not. She doesn't know. His last paycheck was directly deposited on the night he went missing, and Brandon never withdrew that money. None of Brandon's things, such as his phone, keys, wallet, have ever been recovered. After the helicopter hunts, the Coke County Sheriff says that there was no sign of a struggle. One place underneath a tree seemed to have indentions, like indentions. The sheriff said that this may be where Brandon had bent over to watch Kyle and the officer at his truck when they were on the phone. Like the spot that it was convenient for that.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to give you guys all the theories.
Okay.
Number one, he was murdered. The theory that Brandon was murdered is backed by these facts.
Okay.
Number one, Brandon told in the 911 call that he was not alone.
Right.
He, quote, pushed some guys over on both sides.
Okay.
Quote. This implies that he was in the presence of more than one person. He goes on to say that one person was following him and the other one was doing something in the department, moving towards it, perhaps. We may never know. But just remember, he's also was paranoid and saying people were after him.
Right.
So, also, number two, based on the 911 call, Brandon, quote, ran into these people. Though it's not obvious exactly what that suggests, some have recommended that he physically ran into another vehicle or hit an actual person.
Yeah.
But there was nothing ever seen at the scene or suggest any scenario had happened.
Right.
3, he asked for the help of the police.
Right.
4, he told Kyle that he was bleeding. He also mentioned to his Kyle that that quote, I want to say quote,
Right.
The Mexicans in the neighborhood, quote, were after him.
Yeah.
However, no one knew who he was pointing, and his truck broke down in an isolated area, not a neighborhood.
Right.
Also, during an interview with Kyle on the Crossbase podcast,
Yeah.
Kyle said that Brandon informed him that Ledessa had got the aforementioned, the quote, Mexicans from the neighborhood to follow him out of town. 2 were still chasing him, but a third one had been pulled over by a state trooper.
Right.
And the last fact to go on to this theory is a second voice may have been recorded on the 911 call.
Okay.
But it's just not clear.
Right.
So,
Oy vey.
let's go to our second theory.
Okay.
2, he ran away.
This is the theory I'm kind of going with.
Could be.
Yeah.
So number 1, first there was his crime warrant, which gave a sentence of 2 to 20 years in prison.
Mm-hmm.
However, he was out on bond, so he was likely looking for more punishment, time served, or a very short sentence.
Yeah.
But if he was back on drugs and tested positive for a substance, that could have hindered his chances at merely extending his probation and may have placed him behind bars.
Okay.
So it is possible that Brandon pretended his own death, abduction, to avoid his legal problems.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't really believe it too much, but I'm more on number 3, which I haven't gotten to yet.
Okay.
So, but still saying on this one that he ran away. Brandon's family said that, however, that Brandon had already done his time in state prison and he wasn't afraid to go back.
Yeah.
He had apparently had mentioned this, like he wasn't scared of it.
Yeah.
I'd be scared. But
yeah.
and also, since there have been no clues that Brandon started a new life, the logical end, if you would think he was on the run, that he disappeared somewhere and died there, maybe.
Yeah.
We just don't know. And the third one, which I guess is my vote.
Yeah.
Not my vote, but
the one that you believe in the most.
Real to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So, was drugs.
Okay.
According to Kyle, Brandon's argument with Ledessa was about drugs.
Mm-hmm.
It shows that Brandon had tried to score some meth earlier in the day and was trying to persuade his brother into helping him get some.
Okay.
Kyle also mentioned that Brandon had done meth with the night of his disappearance.
Okay.
2, when Kyle was asked to Brandon and Ledessa's home after the couple argued, Ledessa informed him that Brandon was flipping out and tripping.
Okay.
Quote, in his nervous, paranoid state, it's possible that Brandon wandered off somewhere to hide and submitted to the elements or drug overdose.
Right.
He could have fallen in the water, drowned for all we know.
Right.
Or Brandon was involved in a drug deal gone bad while he was high. But again, where's the proof of the crime? Where's his body?
Yeah.
So
that's crazy.
I have been following their Facebook account at Help Find Brandon Lawson.
Okay.
So go follow, keep up with any information. Of course, if you know anything about any of these cases, except Owen.
I mean, let's be fair. Even Owen, even old Owen.
If you guys know what happened to Owen, I trust me, I would love to find out.
Yeah, let's. Yeah, any tips are appreciated.
But if you guys know anything, don't tell us. Tell your police department. You can tell your local police department. They'll figure it out. They'll handle it.
Yeah, or you can hit up the police department that is closely correlated with the cases mentioned above.
Absolutely.
In fact, it's probably preferred to do that, just so that way it goes straight to the source and nobody's playing broken telephone,
But just don't be quiet.
Yeah, don't be a dick.
I'm not even gonna say word. All right, just don't be a D-I-C-K.
Oh wow, Amanda.
Don't be a Richard.
Don't be a Richard. Don't be an Owen either.
So I'm gonna do my quote.
Okay.
All right. This one's not funny,
Okay.
but it's the new year,
Okay.
and I want to do something about that. So,
Okay.
our quote of the day is by, I'm going to say her name, Hilary DePiano. You think that's right?
Yeah, probably. I really wanted to guess the wrong answer though, but that's cool. It's okay. It's okay.
So the quote is, "You can get excited about the future. The past won't mind."
So was this by Elmo from Sesame Street?
Oh, you got it.
It was. I know.
You got it.
Listen, I have taken some time to examine my zipper and reflect, and I still got it wrong. So that's fine. That's fine. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Make sure that you find us on all the podcasts. Really, Courtney Fenner. Make sure you find us on all the podcast. What the hell? I just did it again. I keep saying podcast. Okay. Make sure you. Blah, 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 blah. Make sure you find us on all of the podcast platforms. Also on Twitter. We are on Twitter. I'm pretty active on there. Instagram, Facebook. Share us with a couple of your friends. Let's grow the audience, man. We've got some big goals that we're trying to reach, and do we have anything else? Oh yeah, make sure that you guys also donate to Jason.Vukovich's Linktree. We always post that up on our episode notes, and that's not stopping anytime soon. Also, I mean, I think it would actually be kind of a cool idea if you guys would let us know how you plan to examine your zipper for 2022. So go ahead and just email us, just in the subject line XYZ, and let us know what your New Year's resolution is, and we'll try to hold you accountable. So if your New Year's resolution is to not be a dick and to wear more deodorant, better believe that I'll be checking in on you every 5 minutes.
Yes.
Speaking of, don't be a dick.
And wear deodorant.
All right. Well, okay, guys. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening to A Nefarious Nightmare.
Music used in this podcast is by Ghost Stories Incorporated.
You can find their music on bandcamp.com.
Do you need merch, the latest episodes, our social media profiles, or just to say hi?
You can find all of that and more at www.bandcamp.com.